as I'm walking through the parking lot of the hotel. Hey, you with the bag. Hey, you. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So I'm like, I don't hear you. I don't know what you talking about. So I make it to the mall, get on the payphone. It's just not computing in my head. Like, bro, they already caught. Like, what do you keep calling these people for? And when I hang the phone up, white FBI agent, hey, you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. So I turn around. He doesn't have anything on him saying that he's the FBI or whatever. Turn and break and run. Police cars are flying up and down the street. I'm like, oh. So I'm running, right? But there's nowhere to hide. Go ahead. And I slow down. He tackled me from the back, boom, and I get, locked.
Hey, everybody. This is Black Zach. Thank you for tuning into my podcast. Of course, I have an interview scheduled up with a very good friend of mine, a person that I met while I was at Jessup when I was inside serving time. He's a great guy. He played Othello once. He just got out himself on the First Step Act passed by Donald Trump. Let me introduce to the stage my man. Remember, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Please leave a comment and let us know what you think so I know whether or not to bring him back. And make sure you hit the like button. So let me bring in my buddy, Mr. Craig Scott. Come on the stage. Craig, how you doing?
What's happening, man? You better bring me back, goddammit. Yeah.
Hey, I want to let the audience know, man, that it has been a long time no see.
Long time.
You know what I'm saying? We kind of broke off, naturally, of course, me getting in trouble and going, but it's been a pursuit just to have you on the show, man. And I'm glad to have you. How you feeling? How you doing?
Yeah. I'm doing well, man. I appreciate you, having me on your show. Yeah.
I appreciate having you on here.
No question.
Where are you anyway? I want to ask you, where are you living right now?
I'm in High Point, North Carolina, which is right next door to Greensboro. So a lot of people are familiar with Greensboro, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is it true that it's absolutely beautiful out there?
It is very nice. It looks nice. I mean, you can go up the street a little bit, it get ghetto, you know what I mean? But where I'm at,
why is everything Martin Luther King Boulevard? Martin Luther King Boulevard?
Well, that's the thing. That's a little ways away from here. So,
right.
It's, yes. So I was really blessed to be able to get out and come into a very, very safe environment. So it's real nice. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Yeah. And so just so everyone knows, tell them what sentence you received and how long you did in prison.
Oh, okay. I was arrested in 1994 for conspiracy to. Yeah, 1994, conspiracy to rob banks. And at the time, they had just passed that crime bill, the 1994 crime bill. And they had this crazy ass statute called 18 USC 924C. Was it called use of a firearm in the commission of a crime of violence?
Correct.
And if you had more than one count, they could stack the counts, which means you would have to serve the sentence consecutively. And they put the sentence at that time was like 20 years. So I ended up being sentenced to 52 years as a first-time offender in a case in which there wasn't a shot fired, nobody received a scratch on them, no one was robbed of their personal property. I mean, it was just, it was crazy. So
and you said it was conspiracy to commit bank robbery?
Conspiracy to, right. Because
so there was no bank robbery.
Well, it was a bank robbery, but the conspiracy is because they had no proof of the other two robberies. So one of the co-defendants flipped and they didn't say, oh yeah, they robbed this and they robbed that. No fingerprints, no photos, no proof whatsoever. Just this guy gets on the stand and say, oh yeah, we did X, Y, and Z.
And that was the other crime that they used to stack the 20 years on top of.
Exactly.
Probably my audience when
20-year sentences on top of the
stacked on each other.
Yeah.
Just to let everyone know, once you go to jail, you come very familiar with the law that they accused you of breaking. And not that I'm saying for you guys, my audience, to get familiar with it, but at the time they were on a hard on crime spree. And what happened was, if they had found that you committed two crimes with the same gun, then they had passed a law that made it mandatory that those crimes go consecutive, right? And so this is what Craig is talking about. So they gave him a mandatory consecutive 20-year sentence on top of the sentence he had, totaling 52 years.
40
for,
years.
Huh?
Yeah, huh? A mandatory 40-year sentence.
40 years, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, a mandatory 40-year sentence on top of what he had based on a robbery that they had no proof or information of.
Exactly.
It's, you know, the criminal justice system, it can get crazy and distressful. But, you know, like, that's not the fun part of Craig. You know what I'm saying? So we might come back to that. I definitely want to get to, because this is a very interesting, brother. Hey, tell us a little bit about yourself before your first ever crime. You know, where you were from, where you grew up. Tell us a little about your childhood.
Okay. Y'all gotta excuse the sound in the back. I was born and raised in Baltimore City. Born and raised in Baltimore City. Long story short, I would end up going to high school at Baltimore School for the Arts. At the Baltimore School for the Arts. Yeah, that's where I taught. That's where I taught Jada Pinkett and Tupac how to act. You know what I'm saying? That's where I learned my tremendous acting skills. You know what I'm saying? And
so was going there? Was that voluntary, or was that voluntary?
Well, actually, I had to audition to get into a after school program that they had called Twigs. And so, because prior to that, I'd never acted before, in my life. My plan was to drop out of school when I was in middle school. But the music teacher made this announcement about, listen, the School for the Arts is having an after school program. They teach dance, art, music, and theater. So I was like, man, maybe this will be, some reason for me to stay in school, whatever, because I was familiar with a TV show back then called Fame. And they was jumping on the tables and dancing and breaking out and all that. So I was like, oh, man.
Bust out and dance. Fame. So are you a dancer? Is that what you're telling me?
Hell no. Listen, so this is what I was. So when he made the announcement, I'm running through my mind like, damn, I can't dance. I can't sing. I can't draw. I can't paint. What the hell am I going to do? So I said, maybe I could act. So I ran home and I wrote out what I would later find out was called a monologue. And I memorized it and I performed it. And so I told my mom, I said, listen, I'm going to audition for this after school program, as for theater actors. Like, acting? Now, let me see. You ain't going to go out here and embarrass me. You know what I'm saying? So I sat in front of her and I did the little, monologue. And, she was like, okay, so she gave me a blessing and I went downtown and,
Wait. So what was the monologue about?
The monologue was, Angry Black Man, of course, you know what I mean? It was
what else?
The brother, what I mean? He's down on his luck. Yeah, he's down on his luck. And he needed a job. So he's at a job interview. And he's trying, he putting forth and the people won't hire him. So he go off on the employee, you know what I mean? And going, but
an unusual situation. But
right. So I went and I auditioned that piece. And what's funny was I found out that as a rule of auditioning, you're not supposed to use like your own material. You're supposed to use some other established play or something like that, whatever. But I didn't know anything about that. But they ended up accepting me into the program, and that's what kind of kept me in school because I had something to look forward to. So because actually it was supposed to be a 1 day a week thing, but then I found out that they had a second class, so I started coming 2 days a week. So I was, but so that's where I learned. Where I start getting my first skills and learning how to act.
So that kind of like saved you or put you in the mode of school.
It saved me, yeah. It kept me going to school, yeah.
So you do like acting?
Oh yeah, I like acting. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm fairly, like I say, I do what I do. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say you sure don't act like it, but look.
Okay. I knew I was setting myself up for something. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So you got into this club, and you started with this club, which got you into, what was the name of that school again?
The Baltimore School for the Arts.
And you say Jada Pinkett and Tupac.
Yeah, attended. Matter of fact, when I auditioned to get into the school, the very next year, Jada would go to the Twigs program. So I was
As a
helping.
teenager.
Right. So I was helping, basically helping to teach that the program. Like I was a part of it, and then I started like the teacher's aide in the program. So that's why I can legitimately say I taught Jada. Yeah. So she was 1 year behind me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I think Tupac came that was it the same year that she came, that he came in.
Okay. So obviously back then they weren't famous, right?
Oh, right.
Or were they?
No,
They-
not at all.
No. All right. So, but you remember them just because they moved on, or well, I mean, because Jada Pinkett,
Well,
is that her
because
actual name? I didn't think that was her real name.
Oh yeah. No, Jada Pinkett is her real name. Yeah. And Tupac went by Tupac as far as I knew. It wasn't.
He wasn't even rapping then.
A little. He started just before he left. Because matter of fact, he had done a little performance on stage where he was rapping. So yeah, he was rapping back then. Yeah.
So you heard him pre-recording Tupac.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Plus,
right,
I remember him because we had interactions with each other. Jada and I had performed in maybe about 2 or 3 different productions together. You know what I mean? Me and Pac's relationship was more interacting with each other outside of school. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you know what I mean? But at the same time, he was, I was the upperclassman, so he was jacking my style a little bit, you know what I mean? Made me do, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? That's why I say, I taught them everything they know. You know what I mean? When it come to acting.
When it come to acting. All right. So were they, before we move past that, were they good actors back then? Promising?
Yeah. Very, very good. Very good.
So you just say that looking back, like.
Yeah. Pac was, Pac was very good. Jada was very good. Because I always told Jada, I said, because Jada used to do everything. Jada used to sing, dance, choreography. I think she painted. She did everything and acted at
wow.
Well. And I always said, well, girl, if you would just focus on one thing, well, you would be, out of sight. You know what I'm saying? But she was just a multi-talented, directed. She did all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Wow. She's a tiny little thing.
Yeah. She was always very small. That's right. I was never like physically attracted to her. She was just so teeny. You know what I mean? But she's always pretty. She always had a pretty face.
Oh yes, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. So I was sitting there thinking her first appearance in a movie, right. was it was a horror movie.
Oh
yeah. Her first appearance, she was in
scary movie.
Huh?
Scary movie?
It was a scary movie. Yes. What was it? It was based on a game.
Is that the name of the movie?
No, not Scary Movie. It was based on a popular game that was out where they were all in a house.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
I'm gonna think of the name of this movie. Before we go, I'm have to look it up.
You've seen her in a movie?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, because
usually when a person, like in that movie, it introduced her like the first movie Denzel Washington was in, because I'm now giving up my age, people. Was in a movie called Carbon Copy.
And that.
Huh? You know why I know that? Because in the credits said introducing Denzel Washington. I'll never forget that. No.
Wow.
He played it. They called him Carbon Copy because it was a white guy that had dated a black. Well, he had an affair with a black woman, and
Right.
got her pregnant, and Denzel was the son. And he had came into the guy's life, he said, to ruin it, right? But he ended up liking the guy. He got the guy put out and lost his job, house, had him flat broke on Skid Row.
That's deep. Harbin College.
I will never forget that movie. I saw it at the theater. Huh?
Oh, okay. I got to look it up. I've never seen it.
And the first movie Jada Pinkett was in, the movie was one of MTV's first movies that they put out.
Oh,
and it was a horror movie. She was in a house. I gotta look that up before I let my audience know. We're gonna make sure we post it. But it said introducing Jada Pinkett. Matter of fact, she wasn't the only actor that they introduced in that movie. But I just simply remember that because it introduced her into that. And of course, she came on with like Low Down Dirty Shame. I mean, she did a couple of different movies. She might have done some TV spots, but I just remember her on her own acting. And of course, being the black person in the Scary Movie, she was killed immediately.
Oh, immediately. Yeah, first.
Yeah, you're like, oh, immediately, yes. All right.
Immediately.
So Craig, teaching these people how to act, I mean, what, like, can you give me the evolution into the bank robbery? I mean, what went from acting career, or did you want that? Or was the bank robbery an audition? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. What's interesting is, and this is the significance of my interaction with Tupac. Pac and I would talk, and he would tell me about the Black Panthers and the BLA and things like that. But I'm in, high school.
The BLA back then.
Right.
No
See,
way.
yeah, they just slow down. I'm coming to it. Coming to it. You know what I'm saying?
This is the 1980 BLA.
This is what they call laying the foundation. I'm laying the foundation. So he's telling me about this stuff, and at that time, I've never heard of this stuff. You know what I mean? But I remember him, talking about it. Right. So I get out of high school. I go to Boston University, basically for the same thing, acting, theater, whatever. And while I was in Boston, that's when I come across Malcolm X, the autobiography of Malcolm X. So I read that book.
You come across the book?
Yeah, the book. Yeah. No, I didn't meet Malcolm. Come on now, stop.
All right, I'm like, maybe at the cemetery, a ghost. Go ahead. I'm looking. Malcolm, what's up?
So I meet Malcolm through reading his book, and it changed my whole life. It changed my whole, perspective on things. So I became very politically active on the campus. This was during the time of apartheid when Mandela was still locked up. So we're doing a lot of rallies and protests about divestiture and, that whole thing. Then I'm also causing a lot of problems in the actual theater department because anytime anything happens there that I think is, racist or prejudice, I'm on it. I'm dressing. So I'm in arguments with the professors and, all the types of, but it's all, intellectual, type stuff, political, type of stuff. Well,
it never got serious.
Huh?
It never got serious.
I mean, it got serious in the sense that, these were heated debates, but it never got violent. If that's what you mean. Okay. Yeah, it never got violent. Right. So
I'm definitely, that was your choice, but go ahead.
So they basically pulled me in the office one day and was like, listen, we're not going to be able to renew your scholarship for the next semester. So it was understood why this was all of a sudden the money wasn't there anymore, because I was one of the best in the class. So it wasn't the grades, but basically because of the political activism that I was doing on the campus, we were bringing in, we brought in Bobby Seale to the campus.
Wow.
What's the brother's name? Kwame Ture, who was formerly known as Stokely Carmichael, brought him in, so we were we were trying to, educate the people on that perspective, and the administration just, they wasn't having it. You know what I mean? So
guys were blowing up.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So they, kicked me out basically. So when they kicked me out, I go back to Baltimore. I'm broke, pissed off even more. So I end up joining the Nation of Islam. So I was functioning with the Nation of Islam for probably about 2 years. I got to do security for Minister Farrakhan when he came to the East Coast, basically anywhere in the East Coast, like the southern states. We would be called in to help with his personal security. So I was functioning in that organization for a while. But the Nation of Islam wasn't militant enough for me. You know what I mean? It was more of a it was more of a religious organization. You know what I mean? So
like you brothers talking peace.
yeah,
I want to carry one.
you know what I'm saying? Right, exactly. Because that was one of the rules in the Nation of Islam, was that you couldn't carry a gun. You know what I mean?
Right.
So in the course of all that, I'm doing my studies, and I came across Assata Shakur. Assata Shakur was a female black activist. She used to be a part of the Black Panther Party,
Right.
but her and some other people splintered off from that, and they created the BLA, the Black Liberation Army. Assata Shakur, Afeni Shakur, Matula, Odinga. This is a whole bunch of people who basically came together and, created that organization. And their organization was more about direct action against the establishment. So one of the things that they would do was, they would rob white-owned banks and use that money to finance the political education and political activism, in the black community. So I would get with some brothers who basically utilized that same tactic. So we were following the model that Assata Shakur laid out in her book called Assata. So once again, reading a book turned me out. You know what I mean? I get radicalized, as I've been told. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
So right. So that's what basically got me into robbing white-owned banks, taking that money, and then what I would do is use the money to finance cultural events, plays. There was an African dance troupe that used to teach kids African dance. We hired them. So that's what, basically that's what we were doing. And how I blended my acting with my militant activism, I would write a play, one-act play called Can a Nigger Do Shakespeare? And basically it was about challenging the stereotype that black folks from the ghetto couldn't do this elevated text called, Shakespeare. So I was a black dude from the ghetto who loved, fell in love with Shakespeare. And I wanted to basically challenge that whole thing. Also, in the course of the play, I was making certain political points and all that sort of stuff like that. And so those are the type of activities that we would, just to give you an example of stuff that we were doing. We weren't buying a bunch of jewelry and expensive cars and all that sort of stuff. Our money was literally being used, for that. So
to give back to the community. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Right. Exactly. In other words, because I was someone coined the phrase, we were like the Black Robin Hood. You know what I mean? Yeah, rob the white man. You know what I mean, to give to the black people. You know what I mean? So that was the time that I was, the activity I was on.
Right. So you're saying, so that was what you were involved in, and you're saying that one of the robberies you guys were caught.
Right.
And they tried to pin the other two on you. Is that what you're telling us?
Right. Exactly. So what happens is, we thought that back in the day the FBI had this thing called COINTEL, counterintelligence program, that was primarily targeting black organizations, political organizations, infiltrating them, trying to break them up, all that sort of stuff. So we thought that program was over. Well, come to find out, one of the guys that we brought into our organization, he was basically working for the feds. He was an informant, working within the organization. So when we get caught on the one bank robbery, which ironically, that was the bank robbery I wasn't involved in. That's a whole nother story.
Well, we got time. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, because I'm married at the time, I've got a child, and I've got a child on the way. So my wife is like, listen, you need to, stop doing that. So listening to her, I'm trying to, get up out of that type of activity. So, I'm out. I'm not robbing any banks anymore. So
Right.
my comrades who were still kind of in the situation, they went and they did another operation, but did it, without me. But they would bring me the money and like, hey man, listen, we just hit this lick, blah blah blah, 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 blah. So, long story short, they run down on the two of them, and one of them is the agent. So that's when he tells them I'm at a hotel. And so while I'm in the hotel room, I look out the window and I can look down, and obviously I'm like, yo, this is a Fed. Like, this is, you know what I'm saying? This is the police standing. He's not in a police uniform, but he's just the way, white dude, the way he's dressed, the whole 9 yards. Immediately, I know, yo, this is a federal agent. This is a cop. So
What,
I scramble.
undercover or just like
Right, in plain clothes. He's just
plain
like
clothes?
plain clothes.
Agent.
But I know that he's law enforcement. I just know this
Right.
guy is, and because he's at the back. He's in the back of the hotel, just standing by the door. But I look out the window and I can see him. So I'm like, damn, I forget how many floors up. So I try to, get everything together. Boom. So I end up walking out, and because the informant hasn't really given them a good description, he lets me walk past him because he doesn't know, who
he's looking for.
He just knows stand by the door. I guess they sent him and I made a mistake of, instead of keeping straight going into a neighborhood, I turned the corner to go across a major thoroughfare to this mall. And when I
okay, wait, slow down for me because I don't process fast.
Right.
All right, so you get the opportunity to walk past him. So
right,
in your mind, he's there to get you guys, or he's looking for you guys.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Because of the informant. The informant has advised them.
Well, see, I don't know
yet.
I don't know yet.
Understood.
Me,
understood. But this is what comes out. So in your mind, it's like, I got to go. So you go down, you walk past him,
right,
hop in the car, and end up going in the wrong direction.
No. I don't have a car. I'm walking. I'm on foot.
Oh, okay.
The other team, they got the vehicle. They're somewhere else. That's how they get jammed up somewhere else. So I'm walking. So there's like a 6-lane highway I got to cross whatever. But as I'm walking through the parking lot of the hotel, I hear a cop. Hey, you with the bag. Hey, you. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So I'm like, I don't hear you. I don't know what you talking about. Boom. So I go. So
Absolutely.
I make it to So I make it to the mall, and I'm getting on the payphone. This is back when they had payphones. This is how far back this was.
Right.
Public phones where you could get on and dial and call people, because y'all don't see that.
All one on every block. But go ahead.
Right. Exactly.
This is the 90s, people. Cell phone are only for rich people.
Right. Exactly. So I'm on the phone trying to call, these people, but it's just not computing in my head. Like, bro, they already caught. Like, what do you keep calling these people for? You know what I'm saying? So I hang the phone up, and when I hang the phone up, white FBI agent, hey, you, yeah, I'm talking to you. So I turn around. He doesn't have anything on him saying that he's the FBI or whatever, but I'm just, putting one and one together. And so I got it back. So I'm sidestepping so I can get around the wall where the phone booth. The phones are lined up. So as soon as I clear that wall, I turn and break and run. Man, this white boy right on my back. Bam, he jumped on my back. So we in some coat store. So he jumped on my back. So I take him, I toss him off me, flip him off me. You know what I mean? Little martial art, training. And I keep, I roll out. So when I roll out the back of the mall,
you have your bag. You still have your bag. Right?
No. He didn't took the bag. I had to drop the bag. All of that,
Oh, okay. I got you.
The controversy came up.
You never mind the money. I just need to get away.
Because what's interesting is I didn't have the money. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. So I get out. Police cars are flying up and down the street. I'm like, oh, what the hell? So I'm running, right? But there's nowhere to hide. It's just like this open grass field, like there's nowhere for me to go. So I run. So they got the mall security, who's a black dude. He's running behind me. So I go ahead and I slow down. He tackled me from the back, boom, and I get, locked up. So
mall security?
Mall security, black dude. Yep. The white dude, he FBI, right?
White dude you can flip off, but the black dude probably had a little weight on him.
You know what I'm saying? But by that time, it was, I was already understood there was nowhere for me to go. I'm caught. You know what I mean? So they bring me back to the mall parking lot and sit me on the curb. So then that's when the FBI agent come up here. Well, you glad I didn't catch you? You glad I didn't catch you? So I was like, you know what I mean? So that was like, well, what was you going to do? Beat me up? So now he's all rest of the regular police. They holding him, and they, calm down, everybody.
So, right.
Later on, though, in the trial, this boy, he gets and he testifies that I shoved him, I punched him, like I did all of this, like we had some brawl in the middle of the. I'm like, man, come on, bro, stop it. But that's really what happened. You know what I mean? He jumped on my back and tossed him off, and I ran out. You know what I mean? But so that's how I was arrested. Just to kind of replay all of that. But how they were able to even know where I was because of the agent that they had working within our organization. Because of
the guy that was undercover.
Right. Pretty. Well, see, the way they do it.
So it came out that he had advised them that you guys had planned to rob more, that you had robbed more. What made that the catalyst for them to come get you? Like, was there about to be another robbery? Or are they just like, okay?
Well, no. What happened was they to be honest, they had direct evidence about that one robbery.
Right.
But what happens is because he then told them about other robberies that they didn't even know we were involved in. You follow? That's how it turned from a one count bank robbery indictment to a conspiracy with 6 counts. You know what I mean? All that sort of stuff. So he was the one that told them about previous operations that we had done. That's how they found out. Yeah.
Oh. So now I heard you right. You said you went to trial, right?
Right. 2 trials.
How many days? Two trials?
2 trials. Yeah, 2 trials.
Talk to us. So what happened in the first one?
Well, we get locked up, boom, boom. So basically they give us the paperwork to let us know that one of our co-defendants is flipping us. So of course, confront him about it. And he's like, no, it wasn't me. So we go to the first trial. So what happens is he's hesitant to go all the way through with it. The idea was, because I didn't know this, that he had been in the prison before. Like this is how he got, flipped. Turned out, whatever. So I think in his mind, he thought that once we got indicted with the 6 or 7 counts, that we were going to cop out, that we were just going to, go, that he wouldn't have to go to trial and testify.
Oh yeah, it got us flipped. They got y'all flipping on each other, telling on like you're not going to win. You might as well just give us what we want. Okay. Understood.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, and I had never been to prison before, so I wasn't, used to that situation. So they're doing everything they can to pressure me into copping out. They even used him to basically to get me assaulted in the prison.
Assaulted by the police? Is that who they say assaulted?
by some other inmates.
Oh,
so this is Baltimore.
Oh, they're trying to get you for assault, not being assaulted.
No, have me attacked. No, the dude set up a situation where they would have me attacked, stabbed, all of that. So what happened was I go Baltimore City Jail, wild spot. It's like the jungle, the whole 9 yards. So we get assigned to a unit, K section. Never forget the name of this. Killer K.
Killer K.
This is one of the most vicious, violent sections in the whole prison. and they send me to this spot, but I'm with him. You follow what I'm saying? He goes
You're with the
informant.
Yes.
So I go to a lawyer's visit. When I get back to the section, some dude stepped to me talking about, man, you robbed my cousin. You robbed my cousin. Nigga, I robbed banks. What is you talking about?
Right.
So I see this is the little setup for, the little move that he wanted to
for the attack. Yeah.
For the
this
attack.
Is the prelude.
So,
this is the introduction to the attack.
Right. This is the justification, right? So what happens is he's talking this shit. So he's constantly looking down the tier. So once he's looking down the tier, I say, oh, this dude, he's getting ready to do something. So I pop on him, boom. So we get the rumbling on the tier. So I get the rumbling with him, but then all these other people is, jumping in or whatever. So, we mix up, boom, boom, split up, bang, bang, bang. So we go back into the cell. Now, once again, naive, I ain't been to prison before. So I'm talking to this informant. I've got my back to the cell door, talking with him. But I'm thinking, they want to test you, you first, new dude on the tier, whatever, little fist fight, okay, bam. Man, next thing you know, I feel this burning sensation on my arm. I turn around, this dude and another dude, they done wrapped up in handkerchiefs and all that shit with the shanks. So they come and bam. So he hit me in my arm and on my back of my shoulder. So I turn around, I grab him. The other one's coming, I kick him. I'm kicking him and listen, I ain't no shame in my game. They got knives. CEO,
I'm screaming.
CEO, yeah, man, I'm trying to come. CEO.
Was it a masculine voice, or did he get to have a little high pitch?
Of course, in the most masculine voice that I kept out. Yeah, cool. CEO, yeah.
CEO.
So I was running with two dudes now. Now, mind you, the informant dude is like, he's almost 6 foot, 200 something, big dude. He in the back. He's in the back of the cell, bro. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So basically, we wrestle. So then he pushes us all out on the tier. And by that time, I think they can hear the cop that's coming up. So they roll out, whatever. Boom.
Right.
So in hindsight, I'm looking back and understanding all of this is designed to put the pressure on me to just cop out. So I understand, though, I knew enough that if I cop out, then basically I'm kind of implicating the other, people that are in the situation. So I understood just off of that. That wasn't something.
Chain reaction.
Right. Exactly. And so what happened was he was holding out, hoping that we were going to cop out. So we don't, and we end up going to the first trial. So at the end of the first trial, they then come to him and say, listen, that other plan didn't work. You're going to have to come and testify about these other conspiracies. Because now the reason why they couldn't try us for the other banks, because there was no evidence of it. The judges even said it. Well, listen, there's no evidence of these other two robberies if you don't have this guy testify. So that's why we ended up going to the first trial and just on the first, on that first robbery. So once we do that, then he agrees to cooperate on the other banks. And so that's when I end up having to go to the second trial where he testifies and, yeah.
So who called the mistrial?
No, there was no mistrial. What happened was when we went to the preliminary, the magistrate looked at the evidence, and said, well, listen, you don't have no evidence of these other two bank robberies. They're just
bank robberies.
Outside of this co-conspirator's testimony. Outside of that, you don't have evidence of it. Right. So he says, so I'll allow you to go to trial on the first robbery. You have something there, but you don't have any of this other stuff. So that's why we ended up going to two trials. It wasn't like there was a mistrial and then we had a trial, we were convicted. Then we had to do another trial to be convicted on the rest of the counts.
That's very interesting. So the first trial you actually lost, right?
Right.
So what brought the magistrate to the point of saying, hey, I mean, after the conviction, then he said there's not enough evidence to convict.
No. Before the first trial. That's why we only have that one trial with that one count. You follow me?
Oh, okay.
Because the magistrate had already decided from the beginning at the preliminary, there's no evidence for these other 2 bank robberies. You follow what I mean?
And so then you had a second trial for the other counts, which got superseded.
Well, I wouldn't even call it a superseding. In other words, it was already in the indictment. It's just that because he wasn't cooperating, they couldn't take us to trial until he decided, yeah, I'm going to actually testify to all of this stuff that I already told y'all. You follow me?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Scary.
Yeah. Wow.
How long did that process take?
About 2 years. Yeah, about 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, about 2 years. 2 years in city jail. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
That had to be a long 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And to come out of it unsuccessful. All right. And to go to prison. All right. So at that point, and let me just ask you, because everyone has a reaction. Because, my sentence was 198 months. Did they give your sentence out in months?
No, actually they didn't, because they probably, in the first trial, they gave it in months. But the second trial, because the sentence is in the statute and it says 20 years, that was, that's basically how it was read to us.
What was your reaction?
So I knew. I'm gonna tell you. I think because I was of course shocked, because I didn't know that they were talking about 52 years. Like, we didn't know that until it was time for us to be sentenced. But so yeah, of course there was a sense of like just numbness. It was just it was unreal, all of that sort of stuff. But I'm gonna tell you, I was so, I don't know. I think I'm just speak for myself. I was so hyped up on just the fight of it that I didn't allow it to get to me. You know what I mean? I didn't break down and cry. I didn't, go into the woe was me, what am I going to do type of thing. I felt like, I was doing something for a cause, and I understood that there was going to be a price to pay, and this would be the price. And so I, just, how they say, took it on the chin. You know what I mean? That's the best I can put it.
All right. And because I do want to talk to you about the movie that you're in, and then, and everybody that joins my podcast have to know to come from that circumstance and end up being, part of is it a documentary movie kind of?
Yeah, it's basically a docudrama. Yeah.
A docudrama. Yeah. From a gentleman that plays Shakespeare is a long aspect, because I always tell people that the day of my sentencing was felt like the bottom of my life. It felt like I'm standing in a well and I'm looking and everything is up.
Wow.
Everything that happened in the past almost had no meaning or value. You know what I'm saying? All I got now is this time I got to face, which, like you say, is unbelievable. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It just feels like you just showed up somewhere.
Right.
Somebody's like, hey, way down there is how you get about this. Wait, how did I get here? Never mind that. Way.
Exactly.
It's like I pride myself on being able to describe it, because it was very humbling. It was very humbling experience. I make jokes about it a lot of time, but the clarity of my mind and my processing, because like anybody, it's like, okay, this can't be real. That just seems like way more than what I'm supposed to have. You know what I'm saying? Like even in my mind, the worst punishment, this exceeds it. Like what? That doesn't even make sense. Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So what's it kind of you is unbelievable. What about your first, after you left the county jail to go to prison? Just tell us about that first night, day?
Man, listen. So,
Talk to me. 'Cause
so
where did they send you?
listen, this is I'll never forget this event. So because of the length of our sentence, we understand, and the because they consider the crime a crime of violence, and because of the length of the sentence, I know I've learned enough to know that it was possible that they would send us to a penitentiary. So
Possible.
one of my co-defendants, one of my co-defendants was guaranteed to go to the penitentiary because he had an escape charge while during the trial. Listen, man, I was rocking with some wild brothers, man. We was on.
Yes, you were.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I
and did you? And I hate to interrupt you. Did you know these guys? Prior to
it was altogether was 4 of us. Of the four, including myself, I knew 2 of them. I grew up with 2 of them. The 4th guy who ended up being the informant, that's the one I didn't know. I never grew up with him. One of the other members of the team knew him. Yeah, he brought him in. Right. But the other 2, I grew up with them. Yeah.
So your first week.
So
what did they send you your first week?
Okay, we get on the bus. They get on the bus. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know nothing about the feds, whatever. So we riding in the bus. So we pull up to this institution that has walls. So the minute I see the walls, I know this is a penitentiary. Damn. So what's crazy is we drive in. Yeah, how does it work? I forget how the walls work. So there's a break in the wall. So you drive in, you go through the fence opens. We pull into the spot. We pull into the sally port. The garage door thing comes up, and you pull in there. When we pull into that sally port, brother, the entire bus, everybody on the bus is dead silent, quiet. Nobody's saying a word. Nobody's laughing, nothing. Everybody's thinking the same thing. Damn, I hope they don't call my name. Because, brother, you can feel the tension here of you understand? But we're in the bus, but we can feel the whole tension of this whole spot. Like, what the hell is going on in there? You know what I mean? So, brother, they get to calling names. And every person they call look crazy as hell. I mean, crazy. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. So all I'm thinking, because I'm with my co-defendant, right? All I'm thinking is, man, like I gotta look out for my Cody, and so I'm just getting into a war mode because you can just feel it. So they call the name, and then the guy, the CO, he steps off the bus and close the door. So he backed the bus up. We roll out. We go through the gates. So as soon as we turn the corner after going through the gates, brother, everybody on the bus just bust out laughing. Oh my God. Because everybody was thinking the same damn thing, and everybody was happy that they were not called to go inside that spot, man. So that was Allenwood Penitentiary. That was Allenwood Penitentiary. So
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. So we would end up going to Allenwood Medium, and it was just a relief to have avoided that. You know what I mean? So that was my first introduction to the federal prison system. Like
how was Allenwood? So I take offense because I went to a pen, but I take offense at all.
Oh yeah. Listen, bro. I don't listen, man. Listen. First thing I tell people. Oh yeah. So-and-so been to the penitentiary. I said, no. I've never been in the penitentiary. I'm not even going to sit here and claim that. I did a what's that joint? A holdover at Lewisburg.
That's it. You held up, but you knew you were leaving. But I am leaving tomorrow.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm just here for the right now.
I'm in the whole. Hey, wait, they coming to get me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm cool. You know what I mean?
Understood.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So no, I straighten that up off the break. You know what I mean? I don't try to perpetrate like, oh yeah, I was in there with the no, hell no.
So let me tell you this. You give off the impression that you have, like what, and we're gonna talk about our friend Tamar, because you just give the impression that you have, and I don't know where I got the perception that you went to one. You know what I'm saying? Because I definitely thought you went to one and worked your way down. Because I was gonna ask you how you did that. I'm like, how did you work your way down? I started off at a low and ended up.
Worked your way up.
I think I already told you that.
Yeah, right. That's great.
Yes. And being hated, being absolutely hated. But all right. So you went to the medium. What was the first week like at that medium? I mean, when you went in there, were you able to get? Was it cool? Was it a good medium? I mean, was it low?
I mean, it was. As far as the institution itself, it was clean. You know what I mean? But this was, like I said, it was
new back then. 94, it was new. It was fairly new.
I mean, I don't know when Allenwood Medium opened, but it was air conditioned. They had the regular, the matter of fact, they had the wooden doors. They had the wooden doors with the little glass in it, whatever. So this is at the very beginning of that crime bill. So they piling people in. So that's the first thing that hits you.
They built them. They started building them in 92. Like I know the whole politicking behind that whole session of what led up to that. And one day I do want to talk about that. They say it's dangerous to talk about politics on your podcast, but I do want to talk about that because of the impact that it had. I've listened to the rationale and the impact it had. So those were kind of brand new at that. That's why I kind of know it's brand new at that time.
Right.
But it was clean. You kind of liked it when you got there?
Well, I just liked it in the sense that I wasn't in the pen. But when you get there, it was crowded. It's so crowded that we had to sleep out in the common area. They literally had bunk beds stacked up in what the common area. So you had to wait until a cell came open for you to actually get a bed inside of the cell. So that was the first, that was kind of the first impression, whatever. So, I'm getting to know people. You get to, hey, they're your homies. This is the Baltimore car and this is that and the other thing, all that sort of stuff. So I got acclimated to that, pretty quick. As far as the violence, there was at that time the Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans, they were the ones that were on the compound as far as the population, and they were constantly, going at it. You know what I mean? As far as among the black inmates, you had little individual scuffs or whatever, but it wasn't nothing like city jail. Like, stabbings was going on the regular there. You know what I mean? But Allenwood, it wasn't as bad. But come to, as fate would have it, Allenwood would be one of the institutions that would riot during the crack riots, what we call the crack riots. Yep.
The crack riots? What set that off?
Never heard of crack riots?
Listen, came in 2008. So what set off the crack riots?
So this is, So the crack riots, so these crazy laws come into effect. So we thinking, not understanding, Bill Clinton, he's a Democrat. He's going to get, what's her name? I forgot who the attorney general was. The chick, she was a chick.
Janet Reno.
Yeah, she going to get Janet Reno to change the sentencing on the crack law because it's wrong. 100 to 1 is wrong, Well, they get in the office and and once they made it clear that they weren't going to change that 100 to 1, man, shit, Allenwood Medium showed up. I mean, they showed their ass. You hear me? Yeah, they burnt because they used to have carpet in the common area. They set that on fire. They set beds on fire, busted windows out, threw hot water on guards, beat up guards. I mean, it was crazy. But lucky for the kid, I wasn't there. Because had I been there, I'd have been right in the middle of all that shit. Yeah, I'd have been right in the middle. So I was gone. I got shipped out for the second trial. And while I'm shipped out for the second trial, that's how I was able to avoid the
You hadn't gotten there yet?
No, I'd gotten there, but I've been there. I was there for a few months, and then they shipped me back to city jail to do the second trial.
Oh,
Yeah. So
wow.
it was
So
great.
did you go back to Allenwood Medium at that point?
Right. After I got sentenced,
So you got the first hand. You got the first hand.
Right. Then it came back with the second hand. Take that with you too. And they would send me. It's so great to be able to laugh about this shit now though. But god damn. But yeah, they.
But at the time it was serious. Is that what you're saying?
Was dead serious. Dead serious. I mean, because listen, a 12-year sentence, you do 10 years on it. It's possible that you and your wife can kind of survive that. Work through that, so you get out and you kind of still can take your family, your kids 10, 11 years old. In other words, like you can rebuild your family after 10 years, right? But not after 52. No, he says that was just so it's destroyed my family. It's destroyed, so much stuff, what I mean? And so that's why, like I said, now I can laugh at it, but at the time it was dead serious.
Dead serious. Yeah, you're right. It's very depressing.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears a little bit because I probably want to come back. I can spend a lot of time because we haven't even come to the part where we met up.
Right.
But I want to shift gears because you actually did you call it a docudrama, correct?
Right. Exactly. When I got out. Yeah.
Please tell
so
because we're gonna set up a link to that along with that. We're gonna put a link on. All right. So talk to us about that, please.
That. Yeah. So I get out. I know I want to do something in the area of entertainment, film, and things like that. So I get out and I join a gym that's right down the street from my sister's house where I live. And I join a gym and I meet this young guy who's basically like a sports journalist. He interviews all of the boxers and stuff like that comes through the gym or whatever. So we get to talking and I'm telling him about my story. And he goes, bro, man, we got to make a movie. Now, I'd heard people say that to me a couple of times since I've been out. I'm like, yeah, okay with it. So sure enough, he gets a friend of his who's a videographer, and we start having meetings about it, blah, 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 blah. Me, another meeting. And he's like, listen, man, bump that. We need to start shooting something. We need to make this movie. And the young man, his name is Tim McCain of McCain Entertainment. He literally put his, he bet his house, put his money up, and we produced the film. We shot the film basically in the High Point area, the gym, different places, all of that. And we shot the movie called Can a Nigger Do Shakespeare? And basically it's a docudrama where I'm sitting down being interviewed by Tim McCain, talking about my life as a Black activist, militant activist, and as a actor, coming up out of the ghetto doing Shakespeare. So what happens is throughout the film, I'm dramatizing or doing scenes illustrating how I equate events and things that happen in the ghetto to Shakespearean scenes and Shakespearean plays. So that's basically what you'll see when you see when you see the film. So once we got the film produced, we then reached out to Dame Dash Studios to distribute it. And Dame Dash's people, connected with us. They saw the film. They was like, listen, we love it. We're going to distribute it for you on Tubi. So right now the film is streaming on Tubi as we speak. And, your people can definitely check it out. I would love for them to see it. But basically, it's a story about my life. And it's also a demonstration of how someone from the ghetto of Baltimore can, with the proper training and experience, perform Shakespearean theater and can relate to it. So yeah, that's the crux of it. Yeah.
Wow. How's it been doing so far? That is inspirational. How's it
well, see, doing? That's right. That's the catch is with Tubi, you're responsible for your own promotions. So that's what we have been. Yes, that's what we've been working on now. Is promoting it. And this opportunity you're giving to me now is a promotion opportunity, which I'm going to thank you again, for.
Quite welcome.
We'll,
Quite welcome.
yeah, we'll be in New York next week. Matter of fact, next weekend we'll be in New York because we've got a billboard up in Times Square advertising the movie. So we want to do some promotions around that billboard. We've got interview with some other matter of fact YouTube podcast people, and a journalist from New York Post is going to talk with us. And who knows? Hopefully, we might be able to get on the phone with Dame Dash and chop it up with him, because we're going to be meeting with the head of acquisitions of Dame Dash Studios while we're in New York as well. So we're doing a lot. And my man Tim just got back from Revolt World. Just had a thing in Atlanta, so we were promoting there at Revolt World. So we're doing a lot as far as promotion.
Fantastic, man.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna advise all of my viewers, please, hit the link. We're gonna have it in there and check out the movie. What message are you trying to convey with the movie? Like, can a nigga do Shakespeare? Obviously,
the title is a question. Can a nigga do Shakespeare? But the answer is no, a nigga can't, but a black man can. So at the same time, I'm challenging us as black people to stop equating ourselves with that word. You know what I'm saying? To understand that, no, nigga, that's a whole different type of creature. A black man is an individual who's actually trying to do some positive things, trying to improve himself, trying to have a family, trying to, do good things. Nigga, on the other hand, you know what that's about. So that's why I wanted to juxtapose that, that terminology. So that's another message that the film is trying to convey. And the other message is, no matter your background, no matter where you come from, you can do whatever it is you set your mind to. You follow. We have the talent, we have the intellect, we have the ability. You know what I mean? And to also put some light on the fact that that militant black struggle was still going on even up to the 90s, and to let you know that it was happening because I was a part of it. So there's a lot of messages, there's a lot of information, there's a lot of knowledge to be had from watching the film, especially people who are younger, who weren't familiar with the 90s, who weren't familiar with the 60s and the 70s. You know what I mean? So all of that is addressed and touched upon in that film. Yeah.
So this is written by you, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
This is your baby.
Written, directed, and acted in.
Wow.
The producer is Tim McCain of McCain Entertainment. Yeah.
So why do you equate the black man to Shakespeare? What is the inspiration of it of Shakespeare? Like what? Like, I know you hold Shakespeare in esteem, and Shakespeare is one of the greatest writers. His stories are the primal problems or situations that we go through with life, and he addresses it head on, and he puts it in a casing. So why do you negate us with the Shakespeare? What is the significance of that?
Early on, like I said, in high school, that's when I found out about Shakespeare and discovered my love for it. Later on in life, being able to see that the stories of in the Shakespearean plays are basically human stories, things that human beings are going through. Well, guess what? Those are the same stories that are going on in these ghettos. And so that's what I want to show, is that the same thing that this scholarly, poetic person wrote about are the same sort of stories that we are experiencing in these ghettos. The Romeo and Juliet story is being played out in the ghetto. The King Lear story is being played out in the ghetto. The Macbeth story is being played out in the ghetto. And that's what I do, is I show those specific events, those specific instances where these things that are happening in the hood are also addressed in these plays. And so that's why, as an actor coming from that background, I can bring another element, and I can relate to Shakespeare because, listen, I'm living it. You know what I mean? So that's the equation.
Okay, brilliant, man. By the way, very brilliant.
Yeah, appreciate.
How long did it take you to write this? So you've been writing it.
Well, now remember, I wrote the play back in the '90s. I wrote it as a play, a one act play, where a young man is trying to join this prestigious Shakespearean theater, and there's this the theater director is this white guy who's prejudiced. You know, what do you know about Shakespeare? You know, sort of thing. So basically, I took that, and using the material from that, I would write the screenplay, which is which is the basis of the show. Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of the writing groundwork was already laid with the play.
Oh, okay. All right. So, how's it been doing so far? I mean, how's it been going?
I mean, people are checking it out, but you've got to have a large viewership for you to start seeing the money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's the part that we are looking for. We once we get we can promote it on a large platform, that's when we are going to begin to see the financial reward of it. You know what I mean? But people are definitely
what type of reviews and things have you been getting?
Listen, every person that we get this kind of because we did a post and had people kind of give different things. You're going to get people that basically say one thing because it's not a narrative film,
right?
You know, they're kind of disappointed at that because they were expecting it to be like a regular movie where it's a docudrama. So you have some people that were kind of disappointed about that. But outside of that criticism, most people who watch it, they all are like, "Yo, this is good. Like this is something that was because it's different." You know what I mean? Some people don't like the fact that it's something different, but others who can get past that, we've had some pretty good reviews from people of different ages, different backgrounds. I haven't heard, oh, that nigga can't act. You know what I'm saying? I haven't heard anything like that. So
I was about to say that.
Definitely listen to that.
Yeah. I was about to say that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's a good thing. I've never heard anyone say like, "Oh, the acting was bad."
Right.
So and especially for it being on Tubi, like they be making all kinds of jokes about the acting on Tubi. So the fact that we aren't hearing that. The number one criticism I'm hearing, of course, is, man, I thought this was going to be a movie, you know what I mean, type of thing. But outside of that, it's been some pretty good reviews. Yeah.
That's excellent though, man. Congratulations on that project. What's next? Like, you have anything brewing in your head?
Well, because I'm focused on the promotion aspect of the film right now, that's where I'm at. But I did some work on another independent film called Not Without a Fight. And that film is basically a short film right now, but I would like to make it into an actual feature length film. So that would be, I would think, my next project. That's called Not Without a Fight, directed by Shantae Lawrence. She's an Atlanta director. I'm looking forward to building that out into a major motion picture.
Oh, okay, nice. Congrats, bro. I know you jamming.
Yeah.
So, man, and that's why I want to say it's been an honor knowing you. I did not know you had that in you. I knew you were intelligent, and we've come a long way. This is speaking to the people listening to my podcast. This gentleman and I come a long way. We did a lot of disputes and debating because we were at FCI Jessup together, which is a medium, right. And I got a chance to go to that medium from the penitentiary. So it was a move down. It was a step down. It was very nice. It was laid back. Let me just say this. First, I want to tell people about our mutual friend, which is Tamar, which is a friend of ours from Baltimore that we met there in prison. One person that we both keep in touch with,
Exactly.
I cannot wait to have him on. I can't wait.
Right. You talking about a character?
But
Yeah, that's a character.
he's still. Do you still keep in touch with him?
Yeah. He calls me at least maybe once or twice a month.
Yeah, I get about once a month from him. You know,
Yeah.
and he go off. You know, he's doing pretty good. He's the one that introduced us, and Craig and I we would spend time debating. This was the election. Was that was it was Hillary Clinton and Trump, wasn't it? It was 2018.
Was it 2018? Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
because Bernie, because you were a Bernie fan.
Yeah. I was right.
You were a Bernie fan.
Yeah, I like all of the rebels. Bernie, AOC, Trump, anybody that's outside the mainstream. That's who I like.
Exactly. And you can because you were hoping, because Bernie was talking about overhauling.
Right.
Him and Craig and I would dispute. We'd walk the track and we'd argue. Share a lot of different stories, you know, going back and forth. Most of it was we spoke about blackness and my, you know, and my apparent lack of.
No, it's just you just weren't, you know, you didn't come from a militant background. That's all.
That's what it is.
That's all it was. That we just had different perspectives.
And let me tell you something. This is what I think is hilarious. Because knowing you know me, right?
Right.
Could you picture me in a penitentiary? Like if someone told you I was going to the pen, you like
exactly.
Yeah, it's over with.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna tell you, I wouldn't think that you would necessarily have a problem because you're a big dude. You know what I mean? Not trying to say you need to lose any weight, but I'm just saying.
But you saying it though. You saying it though. But go ahead. It's all right.
So, I wouldn't think that you wouldn't be able to, handle yourself. I just know that wouldn't be an environment that you would be, willing to, looking forward to acclimate to. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it wasn't a thriving environment.
Right.
Exactly. The low promoted my intelligence. The low, when they sent me to the medium and the pen, I was the intelligence. Everybody was trying to pick my brain. And whereas I wanted to be somewhere where I could pick other people's brain. You know what I'm saying? So it was a challenge. It was, and the ignorance was abundant. So it was very difficult to deal with, you know. So and that's what I was going to ask you. Dealing that long with all those years, can you break down like how you did that? Like, tell me the years you were where. You started off in 94. Right?
94, yeah.
Well, when did you get to prison? Like 98?
You mean when did I get to the federal prison?
Yeah. Like when did you finally start your sentence?
Probably 90. I think I was there. I think by 95 I first got there, but then they took us back.
Right.
So my actual just straight bit didn't start probably until 96.
96?
Yeah, probably 96.
And where did you start off?
At Allenwood. And
Allenwood.
Kept me there for, I think I was there for like 18 years, some crazy shit. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. They held me there.
When did you leave? So from Allenwood, where did you go?
I went to Otisville, New York. Yeah, Otisville.
Oh,
that was like the sweetest spot I've ever been to. Yeah. Yeah, Otisville was real sweet. But they only kept me there for maybe a year or so.
Right, right. So you 18 years at Allenwood.
Yeah.
And then you went to Otisville.
Yeah.
How long were you there?
Exactly it. Maybe 2 years. It was maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years. I don't think I did the whole 2 years there. Maybe about a year and a half.
Why did you leave?
They started a program there where they were trying to encourage people to drop out of the gangs while they were in prison. So they wanted to create a prison where they could go and basically kind of, be safe. So they started implementing that program. So people who weren't a part of that, they started shipping us out. Yeah.
Oh. And so you got shipped out. Where did you go from there?
Then I went to what's the spot called? Gilmer. I didn't even know they had a federal prison in West
Gilmer.
Virginia.
Is that West Virginia or Ohio?
West Virginia. Gilmer. It was
that don't sound like Gomer Pyle to me.
Yeah, right. But this was a high medium. This was like everything was fenced off. First time I've ever been in a prison yard where everything was fenced off. Metal detectors everywhere. Hour and a half moves. Hour and a half moves. I'd never seen that before. But cops was getting assaulted.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It was basically a high medium institution.
And then?
I did almost 2 years there, and then I went to Jessup.
And when did you get to Jessup? What year? Like 2000?
Oh man, let me see. If I left in 2020, so I must have got there 2017.
Oh.
16, 17. Did I do?
So you only came a year before? Because I got there 2018 February.
So I must have got there 17. I think 17.
Yeah, you came. I do remember us having that conversation. You came a little bit before me.
Right. Yeah. So I think I came.
What was your initial out date? What was it?
Bro, that was something that I never really wanted to pay attention to, but I think the last date that I saw was 2039. Yeah, 2039, I believe, was the last date that I saw.
Wow.
Yep.
All right, so before we kind of wrap up, 2039. That's still
me.
Being
that's
there
me
right
in
now.
the middle of my bit with the good time and all of that. Yeah, it was like 2039. Yep.
So, tell us step by step how it ended up being 2020. Right? It ended up being 2020. 19 years. Talk to me. How did that?
Oh, how that can. So, what? Ironically,
isn't it?
When Barack Obama became the president, we thought, yeah, man, he can change this situation.
Yes. It's on and popping. It's our world, baby. It's our world.
So check it out. So he do the first year, right? He did the first term. So people were still, thinking that something was going to happen. Oh man, the second term, he couldn't do that on the first term, but the second term, but I already knew it wasn't going to happen. You know what I mean?
What? Whoa. Hey, listen. You already know how I am about that Obama bashing, don't you? You already know.
Listen. Ladies and gentlemen of his audience, this is the type of stuff that we would be.
We almost went fisticuffs.
Yeah, right.
Obama bashing,
Right. So I already knew it wasn't going to happen. So the second term come, it don't happen. So he gets I call it the Oprah Winfrey solution. You get a sentence computation. Oh yeah, you back there, you get a sentence computation. You know what I mean? So that was his solution to the problem. So so once Trump gets into office, nobody's expecting anything. But lo and behold, Trump is like, listen, man, give me something to sign. I'm like, Trump going to sign it? What? And brothers, yeah. So he comes down with the First Step Act. And so what they do is that statute I talked about earlier, the 924C, they went in, changed that, got rid of the stacking and all of that sort of stuff. The only problem was they didn't make it retroactive.
Correct.
Retroactive.
I think that's horrible because only that is the feds are the only ones that tells you something is defective.
Yeah.
And we're gonna leave it to all those who were defected.
Exactly.
Now, from now on, we're not going to do it from now on, but all those that got defected, we're going to let them stay defected.
Exactly.
Insane. Go ahead.
So, and I blame your boy, Cory Booker for that, but that's another story. So, but what he did was he changed some laws in the BOP. The BOP had a statute or a regulation where they could give you sentence relief. So
Yes.
Trump went in and said, well, we'll allow judges to use this statute in order to give it to people retroactive. And luckily, I had a judge who basically, looked at the case and was like, listen, y'all got too much time, but right now I don't have a way to give you the relief. So once Trump passed
did he say that prior to the first step?
That's like two years prior. Actually, it was a female judge. She had, because we were sending other motions trying to get the relief. And so 2 years prior.
Wait. Let me slow you down just a little bit. So the female judge was not your original judge.
No. The judge who gave us the sentence, he died maybe like 2 years after he sentenced us. Not saying that had anything to do with it. Not saying that had anything to do with it. No. But it just so happened he died.
We got it on tape, people. This is for the Obama bashing. But go ahead.
That's it. The judge who sentenced us, 2 years after sentenced us, he died. Yeah.
Right. So now you had a replacement, a female judge.
Right. So
appointed by whom? Bush?
I want to say she was a Clinton appointee. She might have. Yeah. She was Clinton. Clinton appointed her. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. So 2 years prior to the First Step Act, she had already said, that she thought that there was too much time. But there wasn't any laws at that time that she could use in order to give us the relief. So once Trump had the First Step Act passed, now she had the legal means to do it. And we did it. The government appealed and tried to go against it, but the appeals court. Yep. The government was like, no.
Oh
yeah.
Yes. Because Tamar told me about that.
Yeah. There's a case. We're on the case isn't named after us. It's named after another a person who was in a similar situation out of the same circuit, but I forget the brother's name. But though it has his name, it's our case. So when you read it, it's all basically all talking about our case.
After the podcast, Mr. Scott, I need that because I want to read that with a couple other people. Yeah, and I've been trying to put that together. I haven't had a chance.
It's a Fourth Circuit case, basically saying that the judge can use that BOP statute in order to give grant retroactive relief.
Right. It's the kind of a catch-all phrase, or as justice.
Right. Yeah.
In order to ensure justice or something like that.
Right. Exactly. Well, the BOP was trying to make the argument that they were the only ones that could use it, but the statute was like, no, the judge can use that same statute. Yeah.
All right. So talk to me real quick. So you submitted a motion based on that, because I remember. And did you do it on your own? Or did you have help from an attorney?
No, I did it on my own. Yeah, I did it on my own.
Did you have any good looking or nice brothers help you type it?
Because that's what I was about to say. I first came to you about it, talking about it. You was like, yeah, I'm gonna tell you. So you typed up what I wrote, and I think I got that part. Because first you got to file it to the prison. So that is what you typed up for me on the BP, whatever the fuck that's called, BP 8 or whatever. So we did that. So as that was going on, that's when the COVID hit. So we got locked down. So then I had to. Hold up. Did you
yes,
the motion up too?
Yes.
Okay, so you type that up.
This happened prior to the COVID. This is before. This is when the COVID had just been a spark in Japan. Is when you were coming, because there was a lot of maneuvering going on at that time, especially during COVID. So we were shipping it out. So
exactly. So,
you were coming to me every weekend, and I type up something different. But all that's fine, which is cool. Tell us about how you found out and when they let you go. How did all that take place?
Oh wow! So what's crazy?
The good news day.
Yeah, right. The good news. So like I said, COVID is happening. We locked down, whatever. But I've got 2 other co-defendants. So I'm peeped them too. I said, listen, you got to file this. I'm telling them what to do. So I filed my motion first, right? In the court, I'm there first, making the argument. So I'm waiting for the, really. My first co-defendant, he gets out. Yeah.
I remember you telling me this now.
He gets out. I'm like, how the hell that happened? You know what I mean? So I'm still waiting for the second co-defendant. He gets out. I'm like, what the hell? You know what I mean? So we've been locked down 24 hours a day. They sliding us these little bologna sandwiches every day. I mean, this is the worst part of my bit ever. So finally, they let us out to make some phone calls. And I think I talked to my attorney. No, I talked to my sister. My sister tells me that the attorney called her and tells her, hey, listen, the judge is about to make the decision in his case, blah, 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 blah. So sure enough, somebody from the back, one of the administrators from the back had me sign something. I had to sign something.
So how did they tell you?
Huh?
How did they tell you?
This is how I found out. So I'm locked down. I'm in the cell. So we had a female counselor. I forget her name. She was a hell of a character too.
Black lady, white lady.
Yep, dark-skinned black woman, kind of a little on the heavy set, but she wasn't.
I know you're talking about. That's in this.
She was real cool though.
Yeah. Oh, she was on the cool. She was cool. She wasn't outwardly cool.
Right,
on the cool, she was cool. But if she liked you, she helped you. But go ahead.
So I'm in there talking with my cellie and everything, blah, blah, blah. She comes to the door. She goes, pack your stuff. I'm like, what you mean? She said, pack your stuff. You got to go. I'm like, right now? She said, yeah. I go.
I'm in a conversation, woman.
Yeah, right. I go.
Let me finish first.
Listen, I go, can I take a shower? She goes, listen, man, pack your stuff. You going, you're leaving. You ain't got time to take the shower. So I packed the stuff up. Of course, after she leaves the door, I bust out crying. I just
no.
I started crying like a baby. Ain't no question. So my cellie there, he's like, yo, bro, I'm so happy, blah, 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 blah. This is the thing that really got me though, right? So I packed my stuff up. So she tell me, listen, they're gonna put you on a plane. So that's why I didn't have to worry about showering. You're gonna be home in a couple hours. Brother, she unlocks the door, right? So the whole tier is locked down. Bro, everybody on the section get the banging on the doors, bro. Boom, 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 yo, yeah. Bro, yes. I was like, man. So I'm like, man, I can't bust out crying right here. I got to get that. Bro,
so you can't finish crying. You done already busted out. You can't finish crying.
Yeah, right. I can't finish crying out here. So, bro, I will never forget that. And anybody that's like catch your podcast that was there, bro, I appreciate that. I'm never gonna forget that. It was, they were showing so much love, just banging on their doors, like, yay, man, I'm glad you finally getting the hell up out of here. You know what I mean? So, yeah, they put me on the car, drive me up to the spot. They drive me to the airport, and just drop me off.
So, good luck. Which airport?
Exactly. I don't know. This is an airport in Georgia somewhere. I couldn't even begin to tell you.
Well, it wasn't Atlanta. They didn't drive all the way to Atlanta.
Oh, no. It was somewhere in Georgia. I forget where. So I'm in the airport for the first time in 26 years. And free. Don't know what to do. Don't know what to do. I'm like, am I allowed to walk over to the vending machine? I just, and
looking crazy. That's why
looking crazy. But listen, I'm so glad that the COVID thing was happening. They had the mask on, right? Because when I get on the plane, brother, I'm like, I was literally just in a cell, and now I'm flying over clouds, and so I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm literally talking to myself, and so my
The
mask
contrast.
and all of this. You know what I'm saying?
The contrast.
If my mask not been on, I'd have been like, they'd have had the air marshals come to me like, yo, is there gonna be a problem? You understand? So it was just unreal. It was surreal. I couldn't, it's just, you just go from one extreme to the next in one day. And for at least 6 months, like it was just a surreal feeling. Like I just couldn't believe I was where I was. Like at any moment, I felt like I was going to be back in the prison yard. You know what I mean? And I mean like a real gut feeling. And so it took about 5 or 6 months for that feeling to kind of dissipate and go away, and accept that I'm
like
here.
You belong.
Right.
Exactly. You felt like, okay, I'm out of place. That's how you walked around.
Exactly.
Feeling, right or wrong.
Exactly.
my place was there, and now I'm here.
Exactly.
But you don't want to be there, but you felt like that was my place. This is not my place. I don't know what I'm doing over here right now.
That's it. That's the feeling. Absolutely.
Understood, bro. I've been through it. And congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. Congratulations to you as well. Shoot.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. You've taken that opportunity to a new height doing this movie. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I want to support you in that and in future endeavors, to make you successful, because you're very talented, very good person, good-hearted person. And it was an honor for me to meet you through the whole thing.
Man, honors was made to meet you as well, brother. Most definitely.
So we gotta have you come back, especially on the Tamar broadcast, because it's got to be all three of us.
Man,
we got to get to argue.
That would be wild, because you know him.
I missed that, bro.
I'm gonna keep it polite. Same. I don't think
I missed that, brother.
Yeah.
But congratulations on the movie. I hope that's just step one.
Yes, sir.
I know of a couple of young ladies that's doing different documentaries and movies, and I'm going to make sure I put you in touch with them.
Definitely.
And we're going to get this going. You did have a podcast. Are you going back into podcasting, finding Meek Mills?
Actually, because that's where I started out. I started out with the finding Meek Mills thing, but Meek gonna have to find me now. So
Meek, you know where he at now.
So I moved on from that, and then got into basically, promoting the film right now. So that's my main topic. Most of the podcasts I've been on have been as guests, doing interviews and things like that. But hold up, wait a minute. See, I was slow. You were segueing for me. You were setting it up, and I dropped the ball. I do have a podcast coming out. Called In the Know with Craig Scott. Yeah.
There you go.
That podcast is more focused on my political commentary and activity and stuff like that. Yeah, In the Know with Craig Scott. That's coming up. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, whenever you get it started, I'll be happy to be a guest, and I'll bring you on here to let my viewers know, because my little viewership is growing tiny bit by bit. And like I said, I appreciate every viewer that I have. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Craig, thank you for coming on and spending a little time. Going forward. I would love to have you back. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna bring in the situation. We're gonna figure it out and bring you back on.
Yes, sir.
All right. Finally get to do it. We finally got to do it.
Right. Yeah, that was a struggle.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's my buddy Craig from Jessup. I love him with all my heart. It's been a pleasure and a blessing knowing him. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you hit that link to his movie on my site. Make sure you leave a comment. Let us know how much you love Craig. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. And thank you very much. And I got more videos and more interviews coming up shortly. Stay tuned. Thanks.